Well, hello to everyone tuning in for this session at the 2020 ASU GSD Summit. It's being conducted virtually this year, but still, in my opinion, it retains its title as the very best innovation conference of the year. You just can't beat this kind of content and expertise and networking. So I'm super excited to be here and to participate. My name is Jason Galden. I serve as CEO of the Untapped Potential Project. We're an ambitious startup. We're just getting going, but we're creating a network of industry-driven, skills-based, career-focused high schools to meet the demand of the modern workforce. We span the spectrum of what we call blue collar to new collar. That's the skilled trades all the way through computer science and information technology. There's not a school yet. We are designing it and developing it as we speak right now, and we're set to open in the fall of 2021. And there's a lot of innovation built into this school model, which we'll get to a little later, but in brief, we're talking about rigorous college preparatory academics, cutting edge industry-aligned workforce training, plus project-based learning, plus practical life skills, plus apprentice-style work experience, etc. We've designed the student experience around, wait for it, what students actually want. That's right, we asked them, and they answered. They want more engagement, they want more relevance, and we are just simply respectful of students who are no less intelligent and no less ambitious, but whose pathways to their dreams doesn't necessarily mean going to a traditional college and getting a traditional degree. That's fantastic for those who want that and who do that, but there are lots of routes that lead to success and fulfillment, and we get that. I mean, we really get that. But let me rewind. Let me go back a couple of steps. In my previous job, I was vice president at America Succeeds. This is a national network of business leaders working to modernize the education system. In that role, I had the great privilege of co-authoring a report. It's entitled The Age of Agility, Education Pathways for the Future of Work. In that report, we examined how advanced technologies like automation, artificial intelligence, are fundamentally changing the nature of work. We examined the skills gap and why so many great jobs go unfilled when there's so many people who need jobs. And we looked into the misalignment between what the education system teaches and what the workforce actually needs. Turns out, in areas of critical workforce shortage, employers aren't just looking for the technical skill set, but also the agile mindset for workers to succeed in this ever-evolving modern-day workplace. So we need more schools, and specifically K-12 schools, that see it as their job to bridge this gap. It's not a problem that can be solved in the post-secondary arena alone. No, kids need earlier exposure and access. They need to be around the latest equipment and technology and methods. They need to absorb the lessons that come with kind of hands-on, real-time learning of relevant content. The challenges that plague employers right now, namely this insufficient of pipeline of talent into these quality jobs in the skilled trades and technical fields. These challenges translate into opportunities for students today. These are literal pathways out of poverty for low-income students who can seize these opportunities. We exist to make that happen. If we can't reorient our education system to respect and support technical training in the same way and with the same enthusiasm that it claims to support college prep, then we're making a huge mistake. Then if we can actually reorient the education system to really honor alternative pathways and support them instead of treating CTE as other than or less than, we'll be doing society and our economy, and most importantly, these students and opportunity seekers, a huge favor. It's time to reimagine the way we deliver education. And for all of the historic rancor about keeping businesses away from or out of K-12 education, I think that's the exact wrong way to think about this. I welcome business and industry into my classrooms. Why? Because they live at the cutting edge of technology, and I want my students to have early exposure. Because businesses who want to stay in business, they have to get good at predicting future needs and trends and finding solutions. And yep, you got it. I want my students learning these incredibly valuable life skills and life lessons in these real life scenarios that they can understand and be excited to participate in. So we need more, not less, of these traits found in business and industry in our schools and classrooms. So at Untapped Potential Project, we simply welcome that. We embrace it. We lean in. Our industry partners are frankly the main ingredient in our formula. This, in my mind, is the future of education. Industry alignment. That doesn't cheapen education, it enhances it. That's not to say that all K-12 schools should be purely oriented towards workforce development, but right now we don't have enough, not nearly enough, not even enough to address what the federal government romantically refers to as opportunity youth. Great name. You know what that fancy label actually means? Opportunity youth are those young people between the ages of 16 and 24 in this country who are both out of school and out of work. And there's about 4.6 million of them. That's 1 in every 9 young people who obviously were not well served by the status quo. Their high school experience didn't catapult them into a greater situation, didn't result in an upward stepping stone. So let's offer something different. Let's create a new way. Let's modernize the way we define and deliver education and training in the K-12 system. Let's align our inputs with desired outcomes. Let's prepare all students to thrive in the age of agility. And interestingly, the way to realize all of this innovation and modernization is actually something super simple, super old school, old fashioned, nothing fancy, just straightforward coalition building, door knocking, coffee meetings, community convenings, bringing folks together. Talking with all the various stakeholders, getting them actively engaged, and pooling all these voices of influence into a broad, diverse, powerful coalition, a coalition that demands better for our kids. In my case, in Illinois, we're able to bring together grassroots community organizations, business leaders, education leaders, importantly, labor unions, joining forces to push legislative action to accommodate this new school model that we are launching. The coalition, it's called the Future of Illinois. And it existed long before this COVID crisis hit, but everything we're working on, every problem we're trying to solve has only become more pronounced due to this global pandemic. How do we confront racial disparities? How do we realize equity? How do we ensure that people in Black and Brown communities who are most impacted by COVID aren't also sidelined when it comes to economic and jobs recovery? To be clear, our school and the model is not just a robust pipeline of talent. It's also a pipeline of diversity, sorely needed in business and industry. Because our schools will be specifically and intentionally located in low-income communities of color. Yeah, we want to solve the talent problem. We also want to solve the diversity problem. We also want to solve the opportunity problem. We feel like we're heading in the right direction on all fronts. So that's where we're going. The end goal is a network of schools that provide a great experience, excellent education, and incredibly valuable workforce skills, training, and the credentials that go along. But in order to get there, we first have to confront and combat and hopefully conquer all these negative stereotypes about the skilled trades and technical fields. Some of them are made to seem sexy, the computer coding and the graphic design and such. But meanwhile, others are seen and inappropriately perceived as dirty or unfulfilling jobs. I don't know, like pipe fitters, brick masons, welders. But you might be mighty surprised by the safety, security, great pay, and upward mobility of some of these so-called dirty jobs. They're actually instant transition to the middle class jobs, if you ask me. And I don't think that sounds too bad. We have to challenge society's mindset and mantra around college for all. Yes, indeed, students and workers will absolutely need additional education and training after they graduate high school, but traditional college experience is not the only way to achieve that. It's the year 2020. There are lots of ways to advance learning and acquire new skills. Our school model reflects the reality of how the majority of professional upskilling actually happens. It's in the workplace setting where learning and working happen simultaneously. We, I mean all of us, are charged with this daunting task of preparing tomorrow's workers and leaders today. That's a heavy endeavor. My friend Jamie Casa, for many, many years, he served as the education evangelist for Google. And he says it best. He says, education needs to be preparing students for jobs that don't exist and to use technologies, sciences, and methods that we haven't discovered yet to solve problems that we haven't identified. What a daunting task. And solving for this reality brings me back to where all of this started. Agility. Those who can adapt to this new reality will thrive. Those who don't will struggle to the extent beyond even what we see today with the magnitude of displaced workers. It will not get better, it will get worse for those who don't adapt. So to me, the bottom line is straightforward. If students and workers have to be agile and adaptable to succeed in this new work world, then the same holds true for the education systems that prepare them. So I'm taking that charge to heart. That's what I mean when I say reverse engineering the school of the future. I mean, for me, it was searching high and low, coast to coast, domestic and international, to find the best education and training models out there that's working well for kids. And ultimately, working well for employers too. And then secondly, taking those best practices from these sources and mixing and matching and tailoring them to the specific needs of the local community, reflective and responsive to the areas of workforce need locally in that community. Thirdly, building and empowering a diverse coalition of stakeholders that serve as ambassadors for your school and an army of advocates to push any policy changes needed to accommodate that school. Engaging the actual service population, that is students, parents, community, in the design and development of the school, that is critical. And partnering with industry leaders who are equally passionate about solving this talent pipeline problem, this diversity pipeline problem in the local area, and ensure the partnership includes funding, equipment, bringing expert trainers, and sometimes proprietary training methods from industry into the classroom, and providing students with work experience, and most of all, ultimately, hiring these students that are produced by the program. All of this, of course, easier said than done. So I want to offer a few resources. One, see the great and ongoing work of America Succeeds and their Age of Agility initiative. You can catch all of that at ageofagility.org. You can download the report for free, and I encourage you all to do it and read it. Secondly, check out the Untapped Potential Project. We're at powerup.org. That's powerupp.org. And there you'll find information about the school, our network, our hopes, our dreams, our ambitions, our progress, as well as a blog where we regularly chime in and provide perspective on modernizing education, career and technical education, innovation, STEM, and the like. Three, and just for more information on the coalition work we're doing and the uniquely diverse group of partners we have assembled, find all of that by visiting futureofillinois.org. So it used to be that we could talk about the future of work, and it was actually in the future. And it was wildly exciting to imagine how we'll integrate advanced technology with human talent in ways that make the work experience better and safer and more productive. But somehow tomorrow became today. The future is here. We're living it right now. This is the age of agility. So while everyone is talking about all the advances of artificial intelligence, let's not forget about the ongoing need for skilled human beings to guide that technology, and also to do all the things that technology can't do, or can't do yet. This is a case where challenges really do equal opportunities. Again, there are millions of great jobs across the entire spectrum of technical fields that are currently unfilled. Some require college degrees, but the vast majority do not. And these are not menial jobs. These are jobs that are in demand, that are well-paying, that are upwardly mobile. So schools have to adapt to the times. And at Untapped Potential Project, we're trying to be a solid example of just how to make that happen. So with that, I just want to thank you once again for tuning in to this session. And I look forward to crossing paths out there in the field as we all work together to modernize pathways to success for young people. Thank you and peace.